Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm at Apex 2020 and I'm joined by David Rogers from Siemens. David, thanks for stopping by to chat. I wanted to explore a little bit how you use the experience you've gained by actually being a manufacturer yourself. It kind of puts you in a unique position as a software provider because you're actually peer-to-peer with the contract manufacturers that you're providing kit to. How does that impact the way you develop solutions?
You're totally right. So in the end, Siemens, I think in the industry, in the electronics industry, Siemens is known as industry leader in software providers. But I'm from the part factory automation. In factory automation, we're building products. We're building, for example, controllers for machines. We're building switches and routers, which are doing the networking, as well as, for example, cameras. And we're building, for example, for this just particular item controllers, we're building more than 13 million controllers every year. And controllers, there's a lot of technology inside, there's a lot of PCBs inside, so we know what electronics manufacturing looks like. Yeah, we're having, like, in Amberg, our lighthouse factory in Amberg, we're having like 14 PCB SMT lines. And over the course of the last 13 years, we improved our manufacturing from 1 million products to 14 million products. And we just did it by the course of deploying automation, and now we're actually in the stage of utilizing digitalization.
Yeah, and it's interesting that statistic's amazing, but when you put it against the fact that actually the workforce is almost identical to what it was 14 years ago, you're producing 14 times as much with the same people, and that's where the numbers really hit the road. And actually, in Germany, that's held up as a great example, and they have the sister factory in Chengdu, which is equally impressive. So that allows you to develop your solutions in a way where you have a unique insight into what's really going on. You're not just taking voice of customer, you are the customer in that case. Tell me how that's developing in the digital world with respect to AI, cloud, edge computing, all those ingredient technologies that give us the opportunity to digitize the whole process.
So because not only because we have the factory in Hamburg and in Chengdu and in other parts, more than 20 factories in the world. This is not the only reason why we're actually utilizing smart manufacturing. It's also because of the customer, the voice of the customer. And customers are asking for artificial intelligence. Our customers are asking for ways how to optimize production. And one of the ways is artificial intelligence. And when we're talking artificial intelligence, it means, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is programming or actually setting up a robot or a vision system or whatsoever, a system making decisions by themselves. And this is a thought process. So the thought process starts with object recognition. So you're taking a lot of pictures of a certain item, you label them that this item is the desired item to be, or this is the good parts against the bad parts. You train the neural network, and then we can deploy it on our actual products. And in this case, when we're talking on the actual product, we are providing right now MPU, neural processing unit, which is industrial grade. So instead of having this high altitude computers, you're actually deploying it on an industrial graded controller, which is attached to a PCB. And this is something which is new in the market. And you can, for example, in our demo, we are showing that we're having different items, and these different items, the robot knows what is item ABC, and it picks it up independent from the actual position, where you usually need for every position, and even if it is 5 millimeters apart, you need to reprogram it. The robot knows it, he learns it, and actually deploys it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting when you look at that machine learning and how it can add value. What I'm interested in is how all that software, all that technology interfaces with the operator, not just from a point of view of the operator on the line, but also in terms of all the people that need data to do their job. So we look at dashboards. One of the reasons we're using AI is because there's so much data. I think if you look at the Siemens Amberg plant, they talk about the number of terabytes of data or terabytes per hour that site generates. So you need to protect users from complexity, but you need to deliver dashboards that are very specific and provide specific information to them. That's a big challenge for the industry at the moment.
Absolutely. Talking about delivering data, and it's getting more and more data. But the question is, how do you utilize the data? Is it just collecting data for the sake of collecting it, or what can you do with it? I give you an example. In Hamburg, for example, we're having one of our products is a very complex board. We need to do the X-ray scan, and X-ray scan is very expensive. It's the machine that costs around 500,000 US dollar, and in our case, it was like, do we really need that? So the questions, the hypothesis was, do we really need it, or should we actually skip the test? Because best test is no test. So what we did is we were collecting the data from the line before. We were collecting data from the SPI. We were collecting data from the reflow oven, for example. Oven temperature, for example, also the XYZ offset of the SPI, as well as the layer thickness of the SPI. And it was more than 40 parameters of the line. And we push it to the cloud. In the cloud, we developed the algorithm. In the end, we have an algorithm which says if A and B, just to be more generic, if A and B and C is okay, then actually we don't need to do the test. Yeah. So we skip the test. So instead of pushing the whole board to the X-ray, we skip it. Right now we are 30%, but since this is an AI algorithm, it's getting better and better. Yeah. And if you ask me a year from now, we are at 40%, for example.
Yeah. So you're able to deploy equipment more efficiently, and you're able to deploy your investments in the line more efficiently, which is an important part of that development process. I think the use of AI in manufacturing is really exciting in terms of planning and in terms of all sorts of areas, and I think figuring out how we get the most out of that will be a real challenge over the next couple of years, and real value for your customers. David, thanks for stopping by. Pleasure to chat to you, and look forward to doing so again soon. Thank you.